speaking of recording, playing live, all that kind of stuff, you know, I am notoriously bad about knowing gear. Like, so I'm trying through this process to learn more. Yeah. Because I was always more of like I just plug into the 5150. Yeah. And then just play. People will come up and ask, "Oh, what are you playing through? You got some pedals and effects?" I'm like, I just plug into that, you know, but it worked. Yeah. But some people, I mean, they get real, you know, they're like, "What is that? A 50, 42S, whatever?" And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Yeah.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Because I've never been that. I'm not a technical person that way. You know, I play by feel. But I'm trying to learn. So, I mean, over the years, what kind of stuff what kind of gear, what's your go-to gear maybe back in the day and then also nowadays?
So I'm a little bit like you in that I went through this thing for a little while where I was switching out gear a lot, trying to get a specific sound and all this stuff. And so I had like a Marshall stack for a while, and I had these like Boss pedals and all this.
Which you can't go wrong.
Yeah, there, right. But for the longest time, I had a specific like big guitar sound I was trying to get right, and so I was obsessively changing out stuff.
Yes, very familiar with that process.
So I'd go in, but I went into a music store and I'd see the 5150, the block letter one, the original one, right? And it was right after it came out. Now, I don't mean anything disparaging, but at the time, Peavey didn't make shit that sounded good, right? For rock bands. Now they were great for country and everything, but everything
great practice amps.
Yeah, great practice amps. But everything was solid state, so there wasn't really, and even their tube stuff kind of was crappy. But I remember, but it was the 5150 was a Peavey, right? So I remember walking to the music store and go, 5150, Eddie Van Halen made it. It's Peavey. And I'd walk off. Right. And then finally I'd kind of make the circle around the music store and go back to it. And then I go away and come back to it. Finally I take a guitar. I'm like, I just want to hear it. Eddie Van Halen's name's on it. It can't be all bad. Let me just hear it. And I plugged it in and it went. Fuck.
Yeah.
I want this.
Yeah.
So I got a 5150. I've used for live stuff ever since. That's the only I've ever used. Because
especially if you're just doing a simple rock show, man. And you can't beat it.
The less you can have go wrong, the better, you know. Yep. And those guys, the 5150s, and now the after Eddie Van Halen switched to Fender to make 5150s, they have like a 5260 or something, which is kind of the same thing as a 5150. It's the same specs.
I've never heard it though. Is it?
It sounds exactly like it. The electronics are exactly the same. There's a ton of like metal guys that go out and play like what's that? My Valentine band.
Bullet for My Valentine.
Bullet for My, yeah. They all use those. That's their stock amp. Right. And they use them.
That makes sense. I can hear that.
Yeah, and they use it because they're road gear. That's like you can throw them around and you can do this and they're great. So for me, it was an accident. So I had this 5150 head. And Brazil was practicing, and we were about to do production on Boom Shanka record, and I was really into wanting a big guitar sound. That was kind of my thing. Because I was really into like Dimebag's sound, and I thought his was buzzsaw, like heavy sound. So I was trying to finding my own thing. So then I had these cabinets that I bought from Gene Fields from Hobbit, and they were empty because, Hobbit and all these bands, they would have like 20 cabinets on stage, but they were all empty, right?
Yeah, the old Kiss trick.
Yeah. So I bought a couple of empty cabs from Gene. And I was looking at one of the cabinets, and it was shaped really weird. And Mark Garton and I were sitting around. I was like, man, this cabinet looks weird. He goes, here, let's just tear it apart and see what's underneath it. Well, it was an orange cabinet. So I tore it apart, and it was ragged. But I loaded it with the Celestians that I had in my Marshall 412, right?
All right.
And I loaded this. And the wood that Orange uses is more round and meaty. And so immediately when I stacked that 5150 on top of that orange cabinet, that's the sound that I got on Boom Shaker. It was like just heavy.
Which is good sound.
Yeah, it's a great sound,
I love
right?
it. Yeah.
And it came from that weird combination that I didn't really, it was an accident all the way around.
Right.
And so I kind of found that, and with the music that I was playing, I stuck with that, right? And that's what I played even with Joey. I played with the 51. In fact, I changed. The only thing I
saw a picture.
Yeah,
one of the pictures was like, yep, I see it.
Yep, the 5150, same head that I bought from Kelly Barber in East Texas.
Action Sound.
Yeah, Action Sound. But what I did was, the only thing different was when I started playing so much with Joey, I was like, fuck this hauling around music equipment shit.
Right.
I got a 212 orange cab, that was an enclosed, same thing, but it keeps the sound. Now, it might be a little bit smaller sound or whatever, but you can't really
But just for you, I mean.
For what I was doing. The only thing is, it was funny because we'd play these bigger shows, and Joey was like, hey, man, we need to get a 412 so everything looks big, because I had this dinky little setup on stage. Right. So I'd borrow
Can I just get an empty cab again?
Yeah, can we go back to the empty thing again? So I'd borrow a cabinet from Christian Baird, who was the guitar player in Joey, and have that 412 on stage. But really, I mean, that's what I played with.
Yeah.
And do today. Not with Marquis. With Marquis, it's a whole different thing. So with Marquis, I run through an Axe effect, so an AX8, I think is what they are, and it basically is a foot pedal that runs amps, and it's simulator. It's an emulator, and it runs amps and runs. And I'd played with digital equipment before a long time ago, and I never thought it was that great.
No, it wasn't. They were trying.
They were trying, but it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And so this thing is fucking awesome.
Okay.
I mean, it's
AXE?
AX8, I think is what it's
AX8.
Axe effect, yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you the kind of
music. Yeah.
So it takes a lot.
I've been wanting to look for something like that, because
cool.
I can't stand.
Yeah.
Like you said, just pulling the stuff around,
Yeah. And that all I do, I pick up that, and pick up my guitar, and that's about it. That's all I have. I just plug into the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now,
because you just got to go into your monitors.
Goes
right?
in my in-ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have in-ear monitors that I wear. And I think what happened was with Marquis is that they were doing some shows, and they would have equipment fails on stage.
'Cause it's a nightmare lurking right there. Bleeding colors all fade to gray. Beware the shadows. But what do we know? Out in the gloom, one could lose
with all the other mechanics that are going around with the band, if like an amp goes out or all this stuff, it's mayhem. And so Toby was like, you know what, let's just all go with these floor amps that we don't have to worry about setting up an amp on stage.
Especially if you're doing a bigger production too, because it's like it's one less thing you have to fuck
worry
with.
About.
Yeah, and
it took a little bit of time to get used to, because in-ears took me the biggest time.
Yeah, I bet.
Because you're kind of, I mean, it's really cool in a way of you get your own mix and everything, but it takes a lot of that live feel out of it.
Right,
you're kind of separated. But the thing that made the biggest improvement for me was when I first started playing with them, the in-ears that I had were just some plug-in in-ears that I used. So there was bleed through everywhere.
Yeah.
But I took the time to go to an ear doctor and have him make molds of my ears. And I ordered some fitted in-ear monitors that only fit to my ears. And you really are able to isolate everything and get the mix exactly how you want in your ears. So
you did that at a doctor?
These are our newly arrived surgeons, Doctors Trowbridge and Greenbaum.
Doctor?
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 And doctor. Well, we miss anyone?
Well, yeah. I mean, so what happens is you go to an ear doctor and they do ear molds, and then you send those molds out to the manufacturer, and then they
That's
make
cool.
them.
I didn't even know you could do that nowadays.
And you just push them in and twist it in and pop, and it's only fits to your ears.
Yeah, that's badass.
And it isolates every outside sound, because like we would we still do rehearse in the small room, and drums are live. So by the time practice is over, I'm hearing cymbals in my ears, you know?
Yeah.
But what I did once I got these,
so it kind of doubles as like an earplug.
It totally was. It isolated the sound. Got rid of all that super high-end frequency that cymbals can give you. Can fucking kill your hearing after a while.
I mean, Brett, we would be recording sometimes in the studio with Brett, and I would play something on the keyboard, some synth pattern or something. I'm like, hey, what do you think about that? And he was like, I didn't even hear that you played something.
Yeah, what was that?
Once it gets to a certain register, in the high register, because of all the drum playing, he can't fucking hear it at all.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, so having those in-ears, cutting out that frequency made life a lot better. Now again, working in that world, working with an amp that's an emulator and in-ears, it's a different world playing in that band. But the band's music speaks to it being that way.
Right.
And you just make that adjustment. It's a different, Marquis of Vaudeville is a different animal as far as any band I've ever played. So for me, it's that kind of thing. I look at it, this is the perfect way it should go, this is the way it should be, and then I became a better player just from doing it that way. So
really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you can probably hear, you can hear yourself a lot better. And
well, everybody, this is what's cool, everybody in the band gets their own individual mix.
Right.
So
it makes a big difference.
We have the mixes on an iPad, and you just go over to your name, and you can boost whatever you want and take out whatever you don't want. And that mix only affects you, not anybody else.
Yeah, right.
So I love that.